you guys have been up against just waves upon waves of soldiers carrying these banners of black and red and riding atop these seemingly trained and armored dragonels, which is like most of you guys have maybe only heard of like a few people who have trained dragonels and only like one each. This is a lot of them. That being said, you've made it this far with minimal injury or worry. But things are soon to change.
Oh, God.
You hear screaming nearby.
Uh-oh.
Just these incoherent shouts of terror accompanied by what almost sounds like explosions.
Woo!
As you brace yourselves, before you really get the chance to react, you see something crest over the nearby trees. It is unimaginable. This is no Dragonel. It's far too big and far too menacing. This is a dragon. A real one, somehow, here and now. And as it glides towards the ground, something jumps off of it. Or rather, someone. You are greeted by two individuals.
Whoa.
The dragon actually has unique art, but I didn't get around to making a token for it.
Ooh. Oh my God.
This dragon has dark, almost burgundy scales, and you can see that smoke almost seems to emanate from the corners of its mouth. And having dropped down beside it, it's a man. It appears to be human, but his presence is not at all that. It is ferocious, terrifying, black and cold. And wordlessly, they begin their approach. I would once again like for you all to roll initiative. The weary defenders falter backwards as their terrifying adversary lands a critical blow to Lohezet, bringing him down with precision and strength. The massive red dragon at his back lets out a roar so mighty it causes the remaining 5 to stagger and fall to the ground, even including the valiant Ispin Greenshield. Terror grips them all.
Cripes, there's no end to them.
Mayor's words ring true. Approaching this central battlefield are dozens of soldiers clad in red and black, many of whom are riding atop armored dragonels. The defenders struggle to heave themselves upward, seemingly weakened by the dragon's magnitude.
Well, I always figured out I'd go out fighting. I just wish I'd have made a difference doing so.
I'm sorry, everyone. I can't stay here. Not when my home needs me.
It's alright. We understand.
Raven nods, shooting one last glance towards the body of Lohezet
That
before
motherfucker
rushing
died.
into the stormy night.
Well, Ispin, it was a good run. I'm glad to have been your friend all these... Ispin?
Ispin is on his feet. The spear is in his hands. Becklin, Cudgel, on your feet. This isn't over yet. We still have this spear, remember? In our hands, we hold destiny. The remaining 3 of Ispin's allies watch as he almost seems to entirely transform. He glows like the sun, and his presence is so powerful it begins to outweigh Takhisis' general himself. It invigorates them, allowing them to rise once more and prepare for the fight of their lives. And in all this, the knight Becklin notices one other difference. Ispin is shaking, and the veins in his arms are both prominent and dark. She cannot pay this heed due to the next words Ispin says. Wretched dogs of Takhisis, you may not hear me now, but I will make you listen. You may have fire and brimstone, the hells themselves at our backs, and even dragons to your name. You will never take what makes us strong. Our courage, our camaraderie, and our will to prove that this world still has value worth fighting for. So come on, dogs. Show me what you're made of. So, was heard a battle cry for the ages, marking the point that the Battle of Gravel Run would be Solamnia's for the taking. That battle marked a turning point in the war, and proved that the dragon armies of Takesis could somehow be held at bay, even if only briefly. The dragon army fled, allowing for peace to persist, and now we return 3 years later to the region of Nightland where it all began. Ispen may have borne no children, and yet we follow his legacy, the power of destiny he chose to pass on. So,
Yes!
that prologue was 3 years, approximately, prior to this campaign.
Whoa.
It is worth noting that I would say, I want to say that Lunaris probably knows a little bit about it, but certain parts of it were kind of kept seemingly secret.
Yep.
But most of the world isn't aware of the Battle of Gravel Run, which almost definitely includes your characters.
Oops.
Feels very
Oh.
That does not surprise me.
Wait, but how long? It was 3 years ago, and they just
It was 3 years ago.
forgot
this,
it.
This is,
They just forgot.
well, again, this is why I specified that you guys have not seen Ispen in at least 3 years. Because you had already separated from him
Yeah.
before the point that he went to go fight in the Battle of Gravel Run. And now we focus on you guys on your way to Vogler. Now, I already did preludes with half of you, those being Gabe, Sam, and Holly.
Hey.
And so now, I say preludes, technically I need to do prelude with the remainder of you. Because it just so happens that you end up around the same place at the same time.
Aww.
Aw, quirky.
Before that, though, before this instance that you meet up, something happens. You're here again. You know this place. It's strange. Somehow both alien and familiar. It looks like vast, endless sea. But rather than waters that are blue or turquoise, they are silver and almost seem to glitter with starlight. The sky above you is dark, and yet you catch vague hints of this rich violet that swirl through a seemingly limitless cosmos. Water is up to your knees. It's cool. And it drifts in one direction. It all seems to be flowing, even though you don't feel an angle or a slope. And the air is electric. You again. That voice. You know it. You don't know why, but you do. You turn around and there they are. It's almost like looking in a funhouse mirror. The same, but different. Surprised to see you so soon.
Who are you?
That is a complex question. I am many things. One of which being surprised. I didn't think we would be speaking to one another so soon.
Forgive me for asking, but where exactly is this?
They look up at the sky. Directly up. And now that you follow their gaze, craning your neck back, you see it. High above you, the source of the light in this area, it almost seems, is this massive, distant orb. What we would recognize the giant moon. And this figure says, home.
Darcy would kind of furrow her eyebrows, and she looks back across the figure, and she goes, I don't know if that's right, actually. This isn't my home.
No, it is not.
Well, it seems to be that you are, acquainted with me, though to be honest with you, I am completely confused.
Figure doesn't respond right away. You can see that they have their left hand on their hip and their right hand stroking their chin. They're examining you. Almost amusedly. And eventually they say, interesting. I had thought this was lost to you from Kryn.
Pardon me?
You are Darcy, correct?
Yes, at least I'm pretty sure.
You are an anomaly.
She kind of frowns, looks a little bit offended. I disagree.
You can see this smile on their face. It doesn't look like smug or demeaning. Again, somewhat amused is the best expression I can think to describe them. Think of it like this. They put their hands together as though in prayer, and when they pull their hands apart, suddenly, attached between their palms, is a sturdy link of chain. This is your lineage. And this? They aim their palm in your direction, and at the very end, the very last chain, it looks not really that different from the others. This is you.
Darcy kind of brings a hand to her chin, and she's kind of like holding her hand to her chin, and she goes, "So what you're saying is I'm connected to you?"
In a manner of speaking. And they kind of shake their hand, and that side of the chain detaches from their hand, almost as though it was just pulled out. No blood, no wound or anything, it just was pulled out. However, the other end is still attached to their left hand. And they kind of hold that up, and the chain that they pointed out as being you is the one dangling at the very bottom. This, and with a twirl of their hand, they produce another link of chain, but this one, a different metal, different shape. That was a lot. This is me. Never mind my lineage, but regardless, as you can see, and they kind of tap their link against yours and just kind of tapping against the outside. No connection. Except. And they kind of hold the chain to the side and lock eyes with you and bite onto their chain link with surprisingly sharp teeth, creating a break in the chain. And when they pull the link attached to their left hand back into your line of sight, your link is also broken, still hanging off of a whole chain, broken.
Huh.
And this person loops their link onto yours. And when they let go, it does not hang down, but sideways.
Darcy sort of like scratches her head with her hand, and she goes, "I believe I understand a little bit. You are, well, you look a little like me. Are you me?"
I am not you. But I am you. By the looks of it, you aren't too young to quite understand what that means. Upon mention of that, you noticed you weren't really thinking about it before, but now you're seeing it. This person looks definitely older than you. If you are sort of a younger adult, this person looks middle-aged.
This is all very, enlightening. I do not mean to be rude, but for what reason are you telling me this?
I am a purveyor of knowledge. Knowledge is power, you see. And in my search for knowledge, my reach has expanded out beyond my home and into the cosmos. And I have learned a thing or two about your home, about your people, about you. I have learned that things are not as they should be. I have been working to attach myself to you, a vessel of sorts, not to control you or work through you, but to guide you.
Darcy kind of like clasps her hands together really excitedly, and she goes, "Oh, that sounds wonderful, actually. I think I would like a little guidance around here."
I should hope so, considering the state you're in.
Ah,
Things
yes.
are changing, Darcy. Changing for the worse. I cannot see the future, but I can make inferences based on the past. Admittedly, my strength in this field is limited, and I do not believe I have much longer with you. At least, here, anyways. Know that I will be with you. And if nothing else, remember this. Believe in yourself. Even in times where it is uncertain what is the right thing to do. Believe in yourself. You understand, Darcy?
Yes, I do. I'll make sure I remember
Their
that.
brows furrow, and they say, Darcy. And it's almost as though they can't quite hear you. They say, Darcy. 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 Darcy.
Darcy.
Oh,
Darcy.
oh,
Darcy.
oh my god.
And you wake up.
Upwake on a boat.
You're not on a boat.
Not
You
on
are
a
awake.
Uh,
You arise in the middle of a forest, having just left Estwild, which is a very dangerous and treacherous place to be, but you made it. And you're here in Solamnia.
that.
Stands over your corpse.
Oh my goodness. I had the scariest dream. Looks
Bad
up at the-
ones? Tilt like they sort of like tilt their head down at you. Oh yeah, baby, I'm about to describe my character. Yes! I think they try to speak in as short of sentences as possible. So a lot of what they say is accentuated with like body language. So they say dream bad and they sort of tilt their head down at you.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say it was bad, but it was definitely weird. And she like gets dusts herself off. It towers over you. Good
Looks
morning,
up
my
at-
friends. How are you doing this morning?
They gaze quietly up at you and they flash you one and then two thumbs up. Awoke, I did.
I see that. Very good. Well, Never mind. It was just a strange dream. Looks into the distance, sweats a little.
They sort of like tilt their head at you and they tap one of their ears, and which indicates to you, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to tell me about it?
Well, I wouldn't wish to bore you, but I would never say no to such a great friend. So of course I'll tell you every detail.
They clasp their hands together with abject delight. Yippee!
Darcy essentially explains her dream, but she ends this entire explanation with, "Isn't that so funny? I never thought I would have dreams like that."
um, they do not laugh. Um, they kind of watch you explain. They nod their head and sort of like touch their chin thoughtfully. If it's just the two of us here,
Just
then they
the
probably
two.
aren't wearing their funny little goofy mask. So you could see like, their eyebrows furrow, their eyes widen. Wow. And at the end, they just say, "Abnormal, so that was." Pats you encouragingly on the shoulder.
Yes, well, I suppose one cannot be a hero without a few scary dreams. It must just be the stress of traveling. And she just kind of shakes her hand around and she goes, "Never mind that. How was your night?" Remembers that you can't sleep.
They sort of like tuck their hands together behind their back, and they gaze at you, and they're like, "Average, abnormal, nothing."
Very good.
But pivoting back to your dream, they sort of just like as the last thing to say about it, they just sort of go like, "Comforting thought, someone perhaps looking after you."
Yes, I guess that is true. Never
When
mind
we're
that for now. You know what the best way to start the day is?
Blink, blink.
Food!
Food, yes. Rummages around. Perhaps I can find a ration somewhere. Thought bubble above my head. Food from my dear friend Darcy. La 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 la. Do I have rations, Josh? Do I have rations, Josh? Do I have rations, Josh? Do I have rations?
Do you? Why are you asking me?
That's a good question, Josh. I might not have rations.
Oh, it's okay.
Which is a little.
I have a ration. Oh, it's kind of stale tasting. I wish I had a ham.
I wish you had a ham too. That is not what Blaze says, but that is what I say. Hard. I mean, it shakes a little. Could try hunting.
No, don't worry about it. Remind me next time we have enough gold, and I will get us a ham.
You wish I had a ham too.
I want a smoked honey ham.
You want a smoked honey ham?
You pack up your things and continue your trip to Vogler, unknowingly having just passed over the river where those 6 fought 3 years ago.
Ooh.
I don't like that, actually. That kind of scares me.
Romer.
That makes me feel threatened.
Romer time.
Blomer.
Lomi time.
What's up?
Blomer. You're walking
Hi.
along.
I'm
You
walking
are having
along.
a good walk on the road. You are enjoying your time. Um, when you suddenly hear a scream. You hear
Oh.
this loud, quivering scream from around the bend. Um, and it just so happens that fairly nearby, a pair of wanderers also hear this scream. Why are you constantly casting Turn Undead? Why are you spamming Turn Undead at people?
I love it.
Romer, Blaze, and Darcy, you all hear this scream. However, Blaze and Darcy, you are not on the road, whereas Romer is. Um, that being said, any of you are able to approach it if you would like. It is just that Romer is the only one who sees the source of it. As a young man rushes around the bend, and as he starts racing in your direction, he says, "Please, please help!" Ooh! And just
Oh,
starts
yeah.
scrambling your way.
Oh. Is something chasing him?
You currently do not see anything.
Okay, if I have to stay in character instead of being smart. If Romer doesn't see anything, they're gonna stand there in the road and cross their arms and just stare down there and wait for something to come around the corner.
In the distance, you hear loudly, and this is what happened. This is what's happening in the field of vision of Blaze. Darcy puts a hand on Blaze's shoulder, and she looks up, and she goes, "Hark! I hear a civilian in need." And then she starts
Mhm.
running.
Yeah. He expected that, so runs after.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say, I don't think Blaze is a very elegant runner yet. It doesn't look good.
Shambles fast.
This young human dude, you want to say that he's like barely an adult.
Aw, poor guy.
Tumbles towards you and starts babbling incoherently at you in this like terrified, frantic plea.
Mm.
He is clearly out of breath and freaking out.
You good, man?
And he just keeps on going with this. I don't know if you do anything to try and calm him down, or if you're just gonna let him keep going.
Grabs his wrist,
Oh.
looks up at him. Are you being chased? Is there something like chasing you?
It takes a little bit, but you manage to calm him down. You're just like, hey man, stop that shit. And by the time you have done so, the two of you, Blaze and Darcy, end up pushing through the underbrush to see what's going on. As this kid says, oh, sorry, not being chased, but there's trouble. See, I work at a farm, and some soldiers, they hired me to travel with them and take care of their horses, you see. Just to, yeah. And, and I don't know
Fear
about
not,
the...
civilian.
Oh!
Oh, hey.
He
I
tumbles
am
backwards
here
from you.
to save you. For my name is Darcy.
Anyway, well, I was going to ask who are you, but I guess you just said.
Where is the issue?
I mean, I guess I could show you. It's a bit of ways away. There were these figures dressed in black cloaks. I didn't see him too good, but the soldiers fought him off.
Ew.
Do not worry. I will expel these evildoers for you.
Yeah. All right. Sure. This way. And he kind of turns back in the direction he was coming from. And he stops and he like hesitates. He kind of flinches and balks at it for a minute, but then kind of shakes his head and starts running that way.
She starts running? Okay.
Come along, my friends.
I really like this.
And starts running after him.
Oh my god. Walks like Mr. Krabs.
runs. Do you know? Hey, Josh, you probably never encountered it. Al, you know the Banshee from Bloodborne? In the fucking tombs?
Yeah.
You know that thing? The thing
Yeah.
that screams? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Blaze runs a little bit. It's a little frightening looking.
It's really funny.
Runs a little freakishly. Romer.
Um, yep. Yep.
Okay. Let's go.
You wind and went down roads, eventually entering into a far more densely forested area with gnarled thickets that reach up high into the sky and sort of tall escarpments that occasionally branch out and sort of creep over the road. Until eventually you round another bend, or you start to round another bend, and this young man says, he like stops in his tracks, and he refuses to go around the bend. It seems he says, "They should be just up ahead."
Understood. And
Literally just keeps walking.
she looks back at Blaze and also by extension Romer. And she goes, "Are you ready, my friends?
Who are you again?
Keeps walking.
No
That's
time for
like a-
that." Starts walking.
Okay. 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 You know, I like their confidence. Follows. I like their confidence. It reminds me of someone I know. Anyway.
You just
No
fucking
time for that.
start hoofing it. No time for that, Goku. Up ahead, as you are rushing forward. Lying ahead, toppled over the road, is a wrecked wagon, surrounded by armored corpses.
Oh.
Picking through the remains are strange figures who turn as you start rushing down the road. From beneath their dark cloaks jut scaly wings and sharp reptilian features. I'm going to go ahead and show this to you guys.
Oh.
There we go. Oh, they look cool.
Ooh.
Freaky.
Oh, what? They look like overgrown kobolds.
They do. Like bulldog kobolds.
That's a really good insult.
Well, you guys don't know what
Sick
kobolds
burn.
are.
Overgrown kobold? No, we don't.
Oh, this is such a cute map.
So beautiful.
Why does this look familiar? Well,
see a lot of
I will say
wagons.
it is interestingly not super much, but vaguely reminiscent of the opening to Lost Mine of Phandelver, where you're in like a forested area with some escarpments on either side and some unfortunate situation in the middle of the road. Either way, these guys seem to notice you, and this one here, the orange one, who looks a bit meaner and tougher, hisses something in a language that a couple of you actually understand. He says something along the lines of, 3 of you stay, 2 of you come. And these 3 guys just fucking run down the road, while the rest of them pull out swords.
Sword.
And we are going to roll initiative.
Don't worry about it.
Do you want to see something funny?
Yeah.
I'm
is
going
very
to do
fun.
it now. La 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 la, not you. Not you. You. La 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 la. So I can do a funny little thing. Ba-da-da-da. Ah-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I can switch. Oh god. Hold on.
Can
Hold
you
on.
guys
hold
swap
on. I'm in
initiatives?
my room. Hold on.
I know what this feature is, but I want to wait for you to show it.
Okay, she's out. Yes, I can swap initiatives.
Oh my
Yay!
god, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
That's
cute.
crazy.
So are you switching with Destiny?
So. Yeah.
All right,
Oh
both
my
of you, please go ahead and do that.
That is so
Sweet.
awesome.
Point one.
Thank you so much for taking the
And you
sacrifice.
You take this.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh God, what is that?
I
I
am
need to
a
make my icon a circle.
Ha, typo in the roll 20.
What's my initiative now?
25.7.
25. Yup.
25.7?
Whatever. You're still going first.
Sorry. Darcy's gonna roll your 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. She readies her weapon. And she goes, "Come at me, vile creatures."
I would like to know if you would please remind me, what does your weapon look like?
You know what? I didn't really think about that. She
Oh,
uses
yeah.
she uses for the main part a great sword. I have to think about what I want it to look like. But it'll probably be something that looks kind of fancy looking, like maybe like a silver greatsword, not like silver as in
Ooh,
that kind of
ornate.
silver. And it has like little like gems embedded in it. And like the iron in it is like carved to be like super swirly and have like designs in it. Yeah. She's good.
Delicious.
Very good.
That reminds me of like the Zora weapons in Breath of the Wild.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Admittedly, I already forget. Did you say that you're dodging or preparing to swing? Or neither of those things?
That's a great idea. I should prepare to swing. I will prepare an action to attack once one of them gets in range.
Alright. Next up then is Romer.
I'm basically also gonna do what Darcy did. Except before I run over there, that was just me talking. Sorry, Holly. Okay. But before I run over there, they're gonna stand there next to Blaze because Darcy got a 25 in initiative and shot forward like Sonic. Stand there next to Blaze with their hands on their hips, like an old man watching construction, and be like, "So, do you guys know each other?"
Blaze looks over at you like they just realized you're here. they just went, whoa. What is that? Spokojnej noche.
Spokojnej noche. Paka, paka.
Paka, 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 paka.
Okay, walks away from me. No, I'm
Can you repeat
kidding.
the question?
Do you guys know each other?
They nod at you.
Okay. Runs into battle.
Watches.
That's my turn. I'm getting ready. I'm preparing to swing.
Don't want to fire a little sling bullet?
Not yet, because I technically don't have any. Because my thing didn't start with any. I have to acquire those.
What the...
That's-
Unless you said
sad.
unless you are gonna let me. Yeah, it doesn't come with any. It's just like you can do this.
I thought I mentioned that... maybe I didn't, but I thought I mentioned that you can replace whatever your starting weapon would be with a hoopak.
I have it. I just don't have any ammo. Unless I can pick something off the
Pick up a
ground.
rock.
Oh, am I allowed to use rocks from the ground?
Just pick up a rock.
Really?
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm so used to keeping track of bullets now. I thought I had to have like a sack of marbles.
Not with the fucking slingshot. You just pick
Oh
up
my
a rock.
gosh. Can I do that? No. Oh yeah, no.
don't
Can I?
remember the
Can I?
range of a sling.
I think I wrote it down. Let me
Yeah,
check.
Hoopak has its
Thing.
own specific description.
Yes. Is it this?
Range 4160.
This?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got it.
It is
Oh, I rolled
technically a martial
23.
weapon, but you are. I am giving permission to a. Tender
Yeah.
character to have proficiency.
Yeah, please, by all means, if you want to go into my sheet and edit the stats on that thing, because I'm not sure I did it correctly, you're welcome to.
Well, either way, you are currently making a. You should probably have, Hoopak melee, Hoopak range.
I wonder who did that.
Alex, help me.
And it is a finesse weapon, so you are able to blah blah blah, blibbity blue. None of it looks incorrect.
Alex, help me with this. Thanks.
I'm not seeing anything wrong.
Awesome. Am I allowed to use this roll?
Yeah.
I'd like to hit the guy closest to us right in the middle.
Right in the fucking brain.
Pings you on the forehead.
And he goes, "Ugh."
Okay, that's my turn.
Alright, and that'll be it for you then?
Yep.
Alright. This guy is gonna go 5. This guy is gonna go. So go ahead and make a melee attack. Or since you prepared. That will definitely hit.
Oh, dang.
Alright, here's what
Oh my
happened. So
God,
technically this
that
guy
thing's
was back
dead.
here. You see this guy coming, and he's like charging, and he's growling, and he's raising his blade, and you have like your the way that I'm imagining it is that you are currently like facing in this direction. You are looking this way while this guy is looking at you, or I guess this guy technically is looking at you and charging you. You have your side to him, and you have your sword over your back so that it can be ready for defense if need be. But it's also ready for a very big overhead swing, which you use to cleave down this guy's shoulder, and it goes from his sort of like shoulder neck area down to his stomach.
Perfect. You
He lets
eviscerated
out
this thing.
a wild roar of pain, and as he does so, starting from the wound that you made and seemingly growing outward, this creature turns to stone.
What the?
And then, exploding outward from that wound you made is a puff of almost this like ash or stone dust. And I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
What? No, ew.
What did you do to
is
that thing?
that?
All right, whatever this is, it tried to take a hold of you to some degree, but thankfully you were able to wave and ward it off before it could do so. Oh, I was like, what? And then this guy comes in and he tries to swing at you. For the attack roll, that is a total of 18.
Yes, it does hit.
So you are going to get swiped at for a total of 5 piercing damage.
That's all right.
Blaze, it is your turn.
I think. Oh, sure. I'll paint you a picture. I think they ran into this combat with their bow not out. I think it's still like strapped to their back or whatever. And I think now they like advance a little bit. You could call it a saunter if they were more like, I don't know, coherent about it. It looks more like they're walking slowly so that they don't stumble. And
Like Matilda.
like Matilda after she got her
Her bladder stones are made.
taken out. And they point to Darcy. And the way, I'm sure there are lots of ways that this feature could be interpreted. So of course you can shoot down my flavor here. But since I first made Blaze with the idea of like Azura from Fire Emblem, the way I've imagined it is they point at you and you feel like this pressure, like you know that feeling you're being watched when you're like out in the dark and you're all alone and you're like, ooh, someone's about to mug me. You get that sensation for a second and then it pops and then you can attack again.
Go there in the dark. In the dark.
Go
Oh my
there
god!
in the dark.
Thank
attack
you.
twice.
So yes, the next time you take the attack action, you can take an additional attack.
That's my turn.
Thank you.
All
I'm
right.
staying back here. I'm not going under close
Okay.
for that.
It is this last guy's turn. He's also gonna try and fucking gut you. That is a 22,
Fucker.
and so you are going to take 5 piercing damage.
God damn it! I'm not looking.
Jesus.
It is your turn.
Oh,
I have 2 hit points, but it's okay. I'm gonna attack, of course, this one in front of me. 15.
A 15. Which one were you targeting?
The one in front of me.
It does hit. All right, you just fucking run him through his gut, and just like the other one, he turns to stone, and then that puff of some sort of gas or smoke poofs outward. And once again, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw. As it turns out, so does this guy.
Just stop, dude. Oh. Why did
Well,
I die of
both of
fate?
you failed. You do have a die of fate still, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Oh,
I
it's
It's a D8.
can give you
but-
mine as well. No. Please take mine because Blaze would do it.
Okay, thank you.
yes. Thanks, Blaze.
This guy failed, and as you do, you see him inhale it and kind of cough and sputter, and you notice that he starts to turn to stone.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, that's scary.
Wow. That's not normal.
I don't want that to happen to me.
You do have another attack.
I'm gonna use my second round, even though.
You're fine. You're like, all right, motherfuckers. I'm ready for round 2. And as a note, because this guy is restrained by being turned into stone, you would have advantage on an attack roll against him if you end up deciding to attack him.
Now I'm scared to attack him because then he's gonna turn me into stone.
Yeah.
Now Josh. Never
Would
mind.
you turn Darcy to
Okay.
stone session 1?
Maybe.
I
Maybe.
think instead what Darcy's gonna do is she's gonna jump back. Instead. I don't know if this guy gets an opportunity attack even though he's
He
turned.
tries. He fails, but he tries.
Good. But she doesn't move. She stands here, and puts a hand out, in front of Romer, and she goes, "Careful, my friends. Attacking these creatures seem to emit some sort of gas that turns you
Ew.
into stone.
Okay.
You should only attack it with long-range attacks.
Okay.
Go on, my friend."
Spins my.
Romer, it is your turn.
The way the two of you communicate with each other.
It is very good.
22
Yeah.
hit.
That'll do it. You just fling another
6.
pebble into his brain.
Flicks.
And he is currently shouting draconic profanities at you.
Oh, baby temper tantrum.
Disgusting.
Blaze, it is your turn.
Now, Josh.
Yes.
May I beam this thing in the side of the head?
I mean, if you want, I don't know why you're asking permission.
permission to shoot and kill.
Ooh,
Like,
nice.
all right, I think you get out of here, dude. You fling an arrow. It arcs over Romer and Darcy. Bunks into this guy. How much damage does it do? Oh, all right.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
Killing.
baby.
right
Killing
in the middle of
damage.
the forehead. And as it thunks right in the middle of this forehead, he lets out like a yelp just before it strikes him, and then that gets cut short. And from that wound that you made in his forehead, he slowly but surely begins to turn to stone as well. And you notice, unfortunately, that your arrow also gets turned to stone.
Wonderful work, my friends. Today, evil has not won.
That's like your end battle quote. You
I wanna
see
look
in
at
the
this stuff.
distance,
I would
they
allow for
flash
any of
comes up at you.
I would allow for any of the three of you to roll me a history check, as in
Ooh.
the distance you hear. Did you go?
Yes.
Can it be all of us or just
Okay.
one of us?
I mean, yeah, all of you.
Oh, okay.
And I don't have a token for him because he never shows up again. But
Poor guy.
bounding up to you is this young man. All of you recognize the armor that these men are wearing. They should be visible in the handout that I sent you as well. At least, yeah. One dude is pretty visible, and there's another one laying down. These men are wearing the armor and regalia of the Knights of Salamnia.
Oh.
I feel bad for them. I didn't realize this was what we were waiting for.
Unfortunately, there are many dangers on the road. You should go home to your family.
I suppose I could. I'll admit I'm a bit afraid to go out on my own.
Maybe you shouldn't do that. You should travel with other people.
Where your home?
Not too far. It's a bit of a walk, but it's a bit westerly in the direction of Calaman.
Blaze doesn't say anything, but even though you can't see their eyes, they sort of rotate in place and look at Darcy. Not in like a, oh, I bet you're gonna do this way, but in a, I wonder if you're going to say, oh, we could escort you, and they just watch you. They just look at you.
Would
Looks up at you like the
like
Tyler One
to
image.
escort you to your home?
I mean, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course not. For my name is Darcy, and I am the protector of the innocent. There's a little pose.
Oh.
Sure. Meanwhile, Romer, what are you doing?
They had wandered over to the wrecked cart with all the like stuff spilling out of it. They had wandered over there after the fight ended, maybe while that guy was turning to stone. And then this poor kid ran back and was like, "Oh my gosh, wow, you did it! You killed them!" And in that process, Romer like jumped and spun around really fast and like stuffed their hands in their pockets. Like I was not doing anything. I was not looking at all the bodies. I wasn't looking at all the loot on the ground.
It is whether or not I will ask you now that I'm thinking about it, whether or not you want me to do this. Kender often find themselves having snuck things into their hands or pockets, sometimes without even realizing it.
Yep. There was actually a cute thing I read that was, I think it was in a thing you sent me, where it's like a Kender can be like, "No, I swear I don't pickpocket people," but they'll walk through a crowd, and when they get out the other side, they have like jewelry and stuff in their pockets anyway. It's funny.
Really funny. It's
So
for
I would
me?
like to know if you want to role play that out yourself, or if you want me to randomly spring that on you.
That's funny.
I like the idea of you randomly springing it on me because it reminds me of Pokemon with pickup, where you just look at them sometimes and it's like, I have a berry. It's like, where'd you get that? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
That's cute.
In that case,
Before we move on, unless you were going to open it to something else, but Blaze wants to look at these fucking rock bodies. Hello?
you go to look at them.
Hello?
I want to say that at this point, after talking to this young man for a bit, it's been about a full minute since the first one of these things died. Give or take a few seconds. And as you turn to look at this guy, you watch it crumble to dust.
Ew, spores.
And my arrow?
Well, that was just the first guy. Then, very briefly after, you notice the second and third thing crumble to dust as well. Yes, including your arrow.
Blaze sort of gestures, points at the piles of fucking dust on the ground now, and just sort of says, "Not normal." Right?
No,
Says that.
I have
What
never
were
seen
those
that
things?
before.
I have no idea.
Some sort of draconic creatures.
What? Dragons ain't real.
I
I guess
just
they
saw
weren't
one.
dragons, though. That weren't no dragon. Dragons are big and scary. Well, these guys are scary, but dragons are big and breathe fire and stuff. So these
I
things
don't
were
know.
small and weird.
Lizards?
Whatever you say. You there, tiny one. Point at
The
you.
looks. Eyes get really big.
Rotates
You
and looks at
fought
you.
well. You should join
Huh.
us on
Thumbs
our
up.
adventures.
Puts my thumb
Who
down.
pays you guys?
No one.
Oh. Kicks a rock. Do you just do that for free?
paid in
Seeing the
companionship.
smiles on the innocent people's faces is enough of a reward for me.
So you guys, like, you travel around a lot? You move around a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Numbers and safety.
Yes.
Yeah, what they said. Points.
Wonderful. My
So-
name is Darcy.
I know.
What is your name?
My name's Romer. Puts out my hand to shake your ginormous, spiky, armor-clad hand.
She grabs your hand and your tiny hand fits in the hole of her fist.
Grabs your
Oh my
upper arm.
God.
She shakes your hand really vigorously.
Uh,
And she goes, "Nice to be your acquaintance, my friend. Or I guess technically we are friends now."
oh, wonderful. Who's that? Leans, looks at the person standing behind you.
Gazes at you.
Looks down at Blaze. "Why don't you
Um,
introduce yourself?"
They extend a hand and they say, "Is it Blaze?" It Blaze.
Nods.
Cool.
I'm
Puts out my hand to shake your hand.
Holds it.
What did you say, civilian?
I'm raised.
Civilian. One.
Looks at him.
I got
Alright.
a name too.
That's cool, buddy.
Oh no.
No, I'll go shake his hand too. Come here.
Let's go of your hand. I think
Let
this is
us
the
get
best
you
thing
home,
ever.
my friend.
And with that, you escort this young man back home. It
Okay.
really isn't that far, and quite serendipitously, it's not that of a detour away from your intended destination. And as it turns out, the three of you share a goal, share a place to get to. Vogler.
Fucking funeral.
I don't know if the fact that you're going to a funeral comes up, but you do know that you are going to the same place. Whether or not you would bring up the idea of a funeral, I guess, is up to you.
Maybe not. I don't think Darcy would. So I think it would be
Someone's died.
a little funny if we were just like, oh man, we're going to the same place. Oh,
That's
well,
crazy.
I guess when we get there, we'll see you when we're all done with our stuff. We'll just, like briefly split up, and then we meet at the same
Yep.
funeral.
Just walks like
Really
5 feet
cool.
behind you the whole time for every curve you go around.
It's really funny.
And so, you go. Traveling northwest, at least the three of you do, while others travel east, northeast, and the like. All to the same quiet fishing town of Vogler. One after the other. At different times, possibly at the same time, who's to say? You make
Who's
it.
to say?
Who's to say?
Me.
Okay.
I'm
The
to
fishing
say.
village of
Sorry for being
Vogler
picky.
clings to a spit of land reaching into the Vingard River. Wooded cliffs overlook the community, and the only path from the north descends past the ivory-covered remnants of a crumbling stone keep. The village's modest wooden buildings cluster around a quaint central circle and along the riverbank. Jutting into the river, out of place and seemingly out of time, stands an incomplete stone bridge of incredible artisanship. The structure clearly dates to before the cataclysm, eclipsing its modern piers in size and sturdiness. The bridge crosses less than half the river's width before giving way to a series of ropes and tethered rafts serving as ferries. And on the river itself, dozens of small boats drift along the slow, murky waters as the fishers of Vogler ply their trade. You are here, and it starts now.